There's a certain type of man who never chases, never seeks approval, and yet, even women who are already taken find themselves drawn to him. Why? Because attraction isn't about status, money, or words, it's about presence, control, and mindset. Most men think that getting a woman's attention requires trying harder, proving themselves, or standing out with flashy gestures. But the truth is, the men who truly command attention, even from women in relationships, are the ones who don't seek it at all. They are stoic, self-sufficient, and in complete control of their emotions. Today, I'll reveal 5 traits that make even committed women notice you. But this isn't about games or manipulation. It's about self-mastery, a principle rooted in Stoicism, the philosophy of control, presence, and emotional discipline. A Stoic man doesn't ask for attention, he commands it. He doesn't chase, he attracts. If you master these principles, you'll separate yourself from 99% of men who seek validation rather than embodying presence. If you're ready to develop this kind of attraction and confidence, hit the like button and subscribe. The men who apply these lessons don't just get attention, they become unforgettable. Now, let's get into it. 1. Unshakable emotional control, the power of stillness. Most men are emotionally reactive. They let their feelings dictate their actions, whether it's frustration when things don't go their way, nervousness in a high-pressure situation, or the constant need for reassurance. Women, especially those in relationships, notice this weakness immediately. A man who can't control his emotions is a man who can't lead, and if he can't lead, he isn't desirable. Now, imagine a man who is unshakable. No matter what happens, he remains calm, collected, and in control. His words are measured, his reactions are deliberate, and his emotions never get the best of him. This level of emotional mastery is rare, and because it's rare, it's magnetic. The mistake most men make is seeking validation through emotional responses. They get easily flustered, overreact, or try too hard to prove themselves. But a Stoic man never does this. Instead, he remains a source of stability. While others get caught up in chaos, he remains grounded. And that stillness, that quiet confidence, is what separates him from every other man in the room. Women, whether single or committed, are naturally drawn to men who exude stability in a world of instability. If you can be the man who doesn't flinch under pressure, who doesn't break frame, who doesn't seek approval, you become a force that people gravitate toward. A Stoic man doesn't let external events control him, he controls how he responds. And when a woman sees a man like this, she instinctively knows, he is different, he is rare. And rare things are always desirable. 2. The art of scarcity, being a man who can't be easily reached. Most men make the mistake of being too available. They respond instantly to texts, they always say yes to plans, and they try to prove their worth by being constantly present. But here's the truth, what is always available loses value. Scarcity creates demand. A man who is not easily accessible becomes intriguing. Women, especially those in relationships, are used to men who overextend themselves for their attention. But when a man operates differently, when he is selective with his time and presence, he stands out in ways most men never will. The mistake most men make is assuming that availability equals attraction. They think, if I show her I'm always there, she'll see I care. But that's not how desire works. Women are drawn to men who bring value when they're present but aren't constantly seeking approval. A Stoic man never overinvests in attention-seeking behavior. He is busy, focused, and selective with his time. He doesn't drop everything to be available, and because of this, his time becomes something worth earning. This doesn't mean playing games or ignoring people. It means understanding that your presence is a privilege, not a guarantee. A man who values himself doesn't make himself too easy to access. He has his own priorities, his own mission, and that, paradoxically, makes women want his attention even more. Scarcity isn't about manipulation, it's about demonstrating that you are a man who values himself first. And when a woman realizes that you are not just another guy waiting for her attention, she starts to wonder about you, think about you, and eventually, chase you. 3. Magnetic presence, commanding attention without seeking it. Some men walk into a room, and everyone notices, not because they're loud, not because they demand attention, but because their presence is felt. It's in the way they carry themselves, the way they move, the way they own their space without trying too hard. This is what separates ordinary men from those who naturally command attention, even from women in relationships. Most men make the mistake of thinking that attraction is about what they say. They over-explain, try to impress with words, or seek validation through excessive talking. But a Stoic man understands that his energy speaks louder than his words. His posture, his eye contact, and his measured movements communicate more than any conversation ever could. The mistake weak men make is being too eager to be liked. They fidget, they overcompensate, they try to force rapport. But a man who has mastered magnetic presence does the opposite. He is calm, deliberate, and completely comfortable in silence. A Stoic man knows that confidence isn't in what you say, it's in what you don't need to say. He doesn't rush to fill silences. He doesn't feel the need to impress. He simply exists in a state of complete self-assurance. And this kind of presence is impossible to ignore. Women, whether single or committed, are drawn to men who command space effortlessly. When you walk with purpose, when your body language is relaxed yet assertive, when your presence feels strong without being forced, people take notice. The reality is, attention follows those who don't seek it. And when a man understands this, he becomes naturally magnetic, without even trying. 4. Mastering the balance of interest and indifference. Attraction isn't just about showing interest, it's about knowing when to show it and when to hold back. Women, especially those in relationships, are drawn to men who don't make their attention predictable. If a man is too eager, too available, too emotionally invested from the start, he becomes boring, predictable, and easy to figure out. The mistake most men make is either suffocating a woman with too much attention or being too distant and detached. If you over-pursue, she loses interest. If you seem completely uninterested, she feels no emotional pull. The key is balance, knowing how to keep her engaged while maintaining your own frame. A Stoic man understands the power of controlled engagement. He doesn't chase, but he doesn't completely ignore either. He knows how to show just enough interest to make a woman feel his presence, while still being unpredictable enough to keep her curious. This means responding on your own time, not feeling obligated to always initiate, and never over-explaining your absence. It means giving her moments of closeness, then pulling back just enough for her to feel your absence. The difference between a man who is wanted and a man who is forgotten is how much mystery he maintains. A Stoic man never gives all of himself at once, he leaves room for intrigue, for anticipation. And that anticipation is what keeps a woman, even one already in a relationship, thinking about him, wondering about him, craving more of him. Attraction isn't about playing hard to get, it's about being a man who doesn't need to be gotten. 5. Self-sufficiency, the man who needs nothing, yet has everything. The most attractive men are not the ones who chase validation, approval, or external rewards. They are the ones who need nothing, yet seem to have everything. A man who is completely self-sufficient, who doesn't rely on women, status, or material things to define him, radiates a level of confidence that is impossible to ignore. Most men make the mistake of building their identity around external factors. They think that money, looks, or social proof will make them desirable. But these things only amplify what's already there. If a man lacks confidence without them, he will still lack confidence with them. A Stoic man, however, understands that true power comes from within. His value isn't based on external validation, it's based on his purpose, his discipline, and his ability to stand alone. He is the kind of man who, whether surrounded by people or walking alone, carries the same level of confidence. This level of self-sufficiency is rare. It's why women, even those who are already committed, feel drawn to men who don't seek their approval. When a man doesn't chase, doesn't overinvest, and doesn't need to be validated, he becomes infinitely more desirable. A man who is fulfilled on his own terms doesn't just attract women, he attracts respect, admiration, and influence. He becomes a presence that people want to be around, not because he needs them, but because he radiates strength and independence. The ultimate paradox of attraction is this: the less you need, the more you get. A Stoic man embodies this truth. He is complete with or without attention, and that's exactly why attention always finds him. Now you understand the 5 traits that make even committed women take notice, the ones that separate ordinary men from those who naturally attract attention without chasing it. It's not about status, looks, or manipulation, it's about presence, control, and self-mastery. When you develop unshakable emotional control, become selective with your time, command magnetic presence, master the balance between interest and indifference, and fully embrace self-sufficiency, you become the kind of man who stands out effortlessly. Most men will hear this and do nothing. They will continue seeking validation, over-investing in women's attention, and wondering why attraction always feels like a struggle. But the few men who understand and apply these principles will walk through life differently, more in control, more respected, and more desired. A Stoic man doesn't chase, he attracts. He doesn't ask for attention, he commands it through his actions, his presence, and his mindset. If this video gave you insight, hit the like button and subscribe for more lessons on self-mastery, attraction, and discipline. Until next time, stay disciplined, stay confident, and most importantly, stay stoic.